My boyfriend, 25M, threatened to break up with me because I, 22F, wanted to go for a walk. Need advice? So me and my boyfriend had an argument a day I wanted to go for a walk to clear my head. When I told my boyfriend this, he got super angry at me and threatened to break up with me. I did go out anyway, but when I returned he insulted me and said he didn't want a girlfriend like me. And I'm not skipping any parts, it happened just like this. He said that I was disrespecting him by doing this. I was shocked and I don't know how to feel. He ignored me all night because of that. He told me if I cause an argument I'm not allowed to go for a walk to clear my head. I'm sorry if this is confusing. English isn't my first language, but I need opinions. Need advice on how to handle this. Too long did not read. Boyfriend wants to break up because of my walks. This is a massive red flag. He's trying to be controlling and isolating. Two things that can very easily lead to abuse. Be firm with him and say that you will not be doing what he says. If you want to leave that house, you will leave whenever you please. If he makes this a big issue or can't get over it, then you need to leave. I would walk and keep on walking. He threatened you. Then he insulted you. Going for a walk to clear your head is exactly what a therapist would advise to do during an argument. I'm very serious. Don't ever accept unacceptable behavior. I mean, it sounds like you should just do it for him and leave. Because that's insane. Girl, your boyfriend threatened to break up with you because you wanted to go outside. You are a grown-ass adult and can do whatever you want. Dump his controlling ass first and be done with it. Run now. He was disrespecting you by not giving you space. Threatening to break up is manipulation. Read, Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men, archive.org. Mike, 29M, GF, 28F, is pen pals with a convicted murderer. How do we work through this? Just to preface, I'm new to Reddit as of a couple weeks ago. I don't really have anyone to talk to about this, and the final option I could think of was to create an account and lurk around while trying to find any situations that might be similar to mine. But I can't seem to find anything, so I'm breaking down and making a post. Sorry if formatting is weird since I'm on mobile, and sorry if it's a hella long post. I, 29M, have a serious girlfriend, 28F, of a little over a year, who I'll refer to as J. We have a lot of mutual friends and generally share the same friend group, which is how we met. So I don't want to risk going to any of my friends about this. Not that I think they'd have any idea what to tell me anyway, and I'm afraid they'd start to see her or treat her differently. Anyway, we've gotten really serious over the last 6 months or so, to the point that we've been looking into apartments and even picked out a couple of options. My current lease ends next month and hers will be up in November, so it's kind of perfect timing. We both have decent jobs and make comparable money. Agreed to go 50-50 on all costs for the foreseeable future, all that good adult stuff. I've been really excited to start this new chapter with her. I even started casually looking at rings a couple months ago because honestly, I feel like she is the one for me. She's smart, beautiful, funny, loved by nearly everyone she meets, and just overall the best person I've ever met, let alone dated. Now, onto the issue. About 2 weeks ago, I was spending the weekend at her place. We usually alternate weekends at one another's apartment and sometimes spend weeknights together. I ended up catching some kind of stomach bug or something on Sunday and took a sick day off work on Monday. Jay invited me to stay at her apartment until at least Monday night since I still wasn't feeling well enough to drive back home, and she was really sweet about it and offered to take care of me, make me soup, all that good stuff. She works 10-6 on Mondays, so I was in the apartment alone during that time. I mostly slept and spent time in the bathroom, but at one point, I didn't make it to the toilet in time and made a pretty gross mess on her bathroom floor. I really didn't want to leave it for her to deal with, so I called to ask if she had any extra towels she didn't really care about that I could use to clean up the mess. She didn't answer because she was busy at work and not near her phone, so I went digging through her linen closet, looking behind all the really good towels and blankets to find the rattier and stained ones. They ended up being on the top shelf and I was weak and frustrated, so when I pulled them down, a couple other things that were stuffed away up there came falling down, including a shoebox I'd never seen before. I really don't like going through her things when she's not around because we respect each other's privacy and I completely trust her. But as I was cleaning up what I'd spilled, I happened to notice something odd and I just couldn't help but be a little nosy. It was an envelope addressed to her, and the return address was a prison in another state. As I looked at the other stuff in the shoebox, I found way more envelopes just like it, as well as some drawings. I'll admit, in a moment of weakness, I could not help myself. I had to see what was going on. This is where I feel the need to explain that I found it so odd because she has told me everything about her past, her family, her childhood. I could name every pet she's ever had, and I've met her parents, both of her siblings, and quite a few of her cousins, aunts, and uncles. And not once has anyone, least of all her, told me about knowing anyone in prison, let alone communicating with them. So as it turns out, these letters dated back way before we ever started dating, and the most recent was from about 3 months ago. Obviously I didn't see the ones she sent, but the ones she received were very affectionate? For lack of a better term. Like something long-distance lovers would write to each other. I know Jay has a big interest in true crime and listens to a lot of podcasts, watches a lot of documentaries, all that stuff. Nothing really unusual since it seems like a ton of women are really into true crime these days. But I recognized this guy's name pretty quickly, and knowing what he did and finding out my GF, who I adore and love so deeply, actually talks to him this way is really fucking with my head. I won't name the guy specifically in case that violates some kind of rule on here, but let's just say his case was huge and fairly recent, like within the last 5 years, and he very brutally killed his pregnant wife and 2 kids. He even confessed, for fuck's sake. I ended up reading through about 3 or 4 of the letters until they literally made me sick. The stomach bug didn't help with that, but even now, I feel nauseous just thinking about it. Then I put everything back just the way I'd found it, cleaned up my mess in the bathroom, and drove myself home. I texted her and made up an excuse that I was feeling better enough to get myself home and that I just wanted to sleep in my own bed so I could return to work as usual the next day. But honestly, I could hardly bear to look at her afterwards. Since then, we've spent a few days together, but I've made up excuses as to why I've been too busy to spend much time with her. In all honesty, I really want to talk to her about this, but I'm afraid she'll lie, or, IDK, I'm even more afraid I guess that she'll just tell me the truth and expect me to be okay with it. I still love her, deeply. I miss her every hour of every day, and I've been sleeping like shit and super distracted throughout the day trying to figure out how to handle this. I can't talk to anyone about it. I really do not want to just end the relationship over this. I genuinely see a future with this woman. I love her with all my heart, and IDK that I will ever find anyone else I care about this much. But how do I move past this? Is there a part of it I'm not considering? I know most of you will probably say, just talk to her. And I know that's logically the best plan, but at the same time, what if she confesses to being in love with a sick fucking murderer? This dude killed his entire family in cold blood. How could she even entertain the idea of writing to him, let alone those kinds of letters? Maybe it's just a morbid curiosity on her part? And if I do just talk to her about it, what do I say? How do I even approach the subject? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. And before any of the paranoid people pop in, no, I do not think she has been or would ever cheat on me. IDK if I even consider this cheating since it's just letters and they'll never realistically meet face to face. But just the idea that she would want to correspond with this guy is sickening to me. How do we get past it? Maybe she just needs some serious therapy for some sort of issues she's never realized she has. IDK I'm truly at a loss here. Thanks for reading. Too long did not read. Found out my serious girlfriend who I love and adore and want to spend the rest of my life with is secretly pen pals with a convicted murderer. How do I talk to her about this and how do I work past my own discomfort with the entire situation? Is your girlfriend writing letters to Chris Watts? Either way, absolutely disgusting behavior, and I suggest breaking it off. Why would anyone, regardless of if she's cheating or not, want to be friends with someone who killed their young children and pregnant wife? Yeah, break up. Among the true crime junkies there are a special few who get obsessed with murderers and none of them are truly on their right mind. This is not a talk to her situation. This is a my girlfriend is cheating. This does count as emotional cheating, with a convicted murderer situation, and the only answer is to break up. And perhaps your friends should know about this. Let's set aside the, do I talk to her, issue for a moment. Realistically, the genie is now out of the bottle, on your end at least. You can't unlearn what you have learned, or unread what you have read. So, what you need to work out is, to what extent has this changed your opinion of her? And do you think you will ever be okay with her contact with him? It sounds like there may have been a certain degree of intimacy between the two of them. Are you okay with that? Is there any reason that she could possibly give you that would make you okay with their relationship? If you don't think you can ever be okay with it, then end the relationship. Up to you if you want to tell her why, and personally, I would. And I would not hold back. No way your girlfriend is writing affectionate letters to Chris Watts. Being into true crime is one thing, but writing letters to someone who did the crime is another. She's in way too deep and I would do what I can to get her out, else it's better you leave. Is it Chris Watts? As everyone else is, I'm guessing this is Chris Watts. I am a woman that loves true crime also and was pretty invested in this case when it was going on. Never in a bajillion years would I think of writing to him. Sure, everyone's different, but I really need to know her motivation for even reaching out in the first place because that is just plain wild. Not getting a good feeling about this. Sorry op skeptical smiley face. My 26F boyfriend, 29M, asked me to not wear certain clothing items out? I have been with my boyfriend a few months now. He is a great guy and I have really enjoyed these past few months together. Right now, we are long distance for a few months while he is away for military training. Everything has been going great until this. I have some friends visiting from out of town this weekend and we planned on going to a popular bar in the area. I ordered some cute new clothes for the weekend and decided to show my boyfriend the clothes on our nightly FaceTime call. He expressed that he liked them, but then said only if I'm wearing it for him privately. I asked if he would be upset if I wore the outfit out this weekend and he said, yes, a bit. I'll admit, the top is a little low cut and shows cleavage, but I enjoy dressing up on a night out with friends. I kinda just dropped the topic, but now I'm thinking a lot about what he said. He's not the controlling type that I've seen. I do still want to wear the top regardless of what he says, but I don't want to hurt our relationship. I think maybe the fact that we are across the country from each other may play a factor in this, but I would never in a million years cheat on him regardless of what I'm wearing. Any advice on how I should handle this without hurting my relationship? If you value your independence and personal autonomy, this is a red flag and it reveals sexist ways of thinking. You should be able to wear what you'd like regardless of who you're dating. Men who try to control what women wear often end up being controlling in other ways, and this is just the beginning. FYI, he, in fact, is the controlling type. You want that? Honestly, I think telling your partner what they can or cannot wear is super problematic. Frankly, this type of behavior is usually associated with either 1. He doesn't trust you to be faithful if you were to be hit on by men. 2. He believes that you may be at risk of assault or something by wearing specific clothes. Truth is that men will hit on women regardless of what they're wearing, as women we know this for a fact. And men will also assault women regardless of what they're wearing. Your partner should never have a problem with what clothing you wear, especially if it's just a low-cut top. Sounds ridiculous. It's only been a few months. This is just the first sign of controlling behavior. And this is where it can start small, with clothing, then with who your friends are, then with what you do, and where you go. Wear what you want, where you want. And if he does get upset, then that's a whole conversation you need to have with him about why, and what else he'd be upset by. Edit. Typo. He is a great guy. Spoiler. He's not. Ask him what his problem is with it. Because normally it is either that he doesn't trust you or is sexist. Sadly, this is never a good sign. Never let anybody tell you what you can or can't wear. My 19 female, boyf, 19 male, has a secret kink that I found. How'd I talk to him? My boyfriend, 19 male, and I, 19 female, have been together for 4 months. He has been very loving and takes good care of me. Our sex life is great too. To cut straight to the chase, I was snooping on my BF's phone while he was asleep as he had done something that broke my trust a few weeks ago. I know it's wrong to snoop, but I was insecure and wanted to feel assured that I could trust him again. I found out he has an alt social media account where he chats with other guys about this kink. I think chatting is alright, but there are messages where he is the one asking for meetups so that they can indulge in this kink together, however they have not done so. I have also seen video call logs of them where they have jerked off together according to the text messages. I understand that he maybe have some fear in admitting this kink to me because it is a pretty wild one, but I just feel hurt that he doesn't think this relationship is a safe place and can't find me safe enough to share about this kink too. I also feel hurt that he's been asking for meetups to fulfill his sexual needs when he already has me. Does this count as cheating, and how do I move from then on? Not sure if it counts as cheating too, because I think it's valid for him to be afraid. In fact, this kink makes me wonder if something traumatic has happened to him when he was younger. Too long did not read. Found BF's kink on his phone, don't know what to do now. It's a diaper kink, I am not sure how to call it. You can't just roll up here into my feed and not tell me what this wild kink is, the cruelty. But seriously, I think it would help properly address the question. He shouldn't be entertaining meetups for his fetish. That's borderline cheating. Either you talk to him and work out a sex fetish compromise, and get him to stop the online stuff, or walk away. It's not looking good otherwise. That's not a kink. He's engaging in sexual activity with guys. That's definitely cheating no matter the kink. Sounds to me like your boyfriend is bisexual. Being bisexual is not a free pass to have sexual encounters with other people. Most people in monogamous relationships would consider arranging meetups and online sexting cheating. Personally, I would tell him that I was snooping and deal with the fallout from the invasion of his privacy, and also tell him that reaching out to people online to engage in sexual activity, kink, is cheating and not okay. I would probably end this relationship, because if I don't trust someone enough to not snoop, then I don't trust them enough to be in a relationship with them. And finding out that he's arranging these secret meetups to jerk off via video calls and trying to arrange in-person meetups would be a deal breaker for me. He's definitely cheating. Absolutely nothing wrong with his sexual desires, but I would consider that cheating, or at least planning to.